Guns in America. It's a long-standing tradition, but a new culture is growing. The number of black gun owners is surging.
No one's coming to save us. We have to save ourselves.
Anubis Heru is one of the people at the forefront of a movement to empower the black community through firearms.
Black people are feared for unknown reasons.
On it for years now. She didn't know nothing came in here, and then she just, her skills.
Off the beaten path in the mile-high city, Denver, Colorado, we've come to visit the 1770 Armory and Gun Club.
So this is a training tool. Okay. This is called a SIRT pistol.
Anubis Heru is the co-owner and co-founder. He's a pistol instructor certified with the National Rifle Association, America's powerful gun lobby. And he is pro-2A, meaning pro-Second Amendment, the right to bear arms.
This is where we teach.
Wow.
Okay? Yeah, this one has a training component inside of it.
His aim is to educate people, especially the black community, on responsible and safe gun ownership so they can defend and protect themselves.
Individuals who aren't armed fall prey to slavery and tyranny, right? We'll think about the Native Americans. They didn't have superior firepower and they got trampled, right? We'll think about the black Americans that were here and that were brought here on slave ships. They didn't have superior firepower and that kind of thing. Humans can be violent sometimes. And I think the average citizen has a right to defend themselves against some potential violence.
The picture of the average citizen defending themselves is changing. Although the majority of gun owners in America are white, black people are the fastest growing group of gun owners in the country. We've come back for one of Anubis's classes to find out why.
Okay, make sure that everyone sees that it's clear, has no ammunition in it. Clear? Okay.
Anubis teaches his students about shotguns and AR-15s. They are controversial because they've been used in several mass shootings. He says they are the best tool for protecting a home because they can shoot at multiple intruders.
Better accuracy, better control.
According to the National Firearms Survey, the number of black gun owners rose to 25% in 2021, compared to just 14% 6 years earlier. The numbers have climbed especially among black women, like mother and daughter Sharon and Genesis.
Okay, so move your finger that way. Yep, and then slam it forward. Yes. Whoa, keep going, keep going. Keep going.
Genesis used to be a policewoman years ago. Now she and her mom say the police force is understaffed and too slow to respond to crises. And they see the threat of home invasions, gun violence, and mass shootings on the rise.
It's not like a war, like we're not ducking bullets or anything right now, right? There's no bombs falling, but it's like this kind of unseen war of like violence, but you don't know where it's gonna pop up. You don't know who's like mentally ill.
When we had our former president, and I'm going to the spiritual side, he released a spirit of murder. I mean, I don't even honk my horn anymore if somebody cuts in front of me, because we've had highway shootings. I don't, when I pull up, I look straight ahead.
Is the answer not to make sure that you cannot access weapons, that there are not so many weapons so that people can walk into schools and churches and such?
What I think is that if we say, okay, you can't have guns, the people who follow the law are going to be like, okay, here's my gun. But the bad guys, they already weren't following the law. So they're going to keep their guns, and now there's nobody in the churches, in the schools, or wherever, in our homes, we don't have any guns to protect ourselves because the bad guys are going to do what they're going to do.
Genesis and Sharon asked us not to use their last names out of fear of how people might react to their words. Gun violence has surged in the U.S., with more mass shootings than days in the year. In May, a white man killed 10 black people in a grocery store in Buffalo, New York, in a racially motivated crime. And black people are still killed by police at a higher rate than other groups. For Anubis Heru, guns are first and foremost tools to protect his family, his wife and children. They live just south of the city.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Hi, Sumi. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Come
Thanks
on
for
in.
inviting us in.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Hi there.
It's lunchtime for his daughter, Nola.
Yes.
For me, I like mustard.
You like mustard?
But the guns are never far away.
This is just a little storage area. So 2 ARs, three pistols, and then I have my bow and arrow. When I was in the 2nd grade, I wasn't doing anything to anybody. I was in the lunch line, and I got punched in my stomach for no reason. Practically folded me, right? And I'm going to get help, and the teachers are like, hey, we didn't see it happen, unfortunately. Nothing we can do. And I'm like, but that guy right there. And they're like, sorry. And I'm like, wow. I'm in the 2nd grade when this happens. First day of school. I don't even think my parents know this story, right? But from that moment on, I said, nope, never again. Not gonna happen to me, right? So I think that's my mentality, and that's the way that I want to raise my children.
But that mentality also means more guns on the streets. When I asked if that is a race to the bottom, Anubis told us it is too late to disarm Americans. He says there's no getting America's guns off the street or out of homes.
I think we do a pretty good job, though, of reviewing kind of how to handle scenarios as a family. If they're
Can never do enough.
No.
His wife, Rainey, also carries a concealed weapon when she leaves the house.
As black women, we're targeted. As women, we're targeted. As black women, your target just got bigger. When you have, they call it soft targets, right? So me getting in the car with my kiddos, whoa, that makes for a good opportunist to try and attack her.
Barrel, slide, frame.
Anubis cleans his guns regularly to make sure they are ready for use. We asked him about the threats he and his family face. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, gun violence is the leading cause of death for black men between 15 and 34 years of age.
Careful.
Nola, do we put our finger on the trigger?
No.
No, we don't.
We just wait for Daddy
Yep.
and Mom.
While violent crime is spiking in many parts of the country and the number of mass shootings is on the rise, Anubis says stakeholders from police to politics have neglected the black community.
No one's coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. Power only respects power, right? We're not asking. We're not asking. We are saying, hey, this is what we want, and we're taking it. And what we want isn't that complicated. We want justice. We want the ability to have the same opportunities as everyone else and not be undermined when we try to elevate.
Anubis invited us to see how he and his fellow gun enthusiasts train on a grand scale. We head around 80 kilometers into the dusty expanse outside of Denver. Mountains loom in the distance. It is there that Anubis and other black gun owners have told us dozens of white militias are training, including some groups linked to the January 6th attack on the Capitol in Washington, D.C. We wonder how the majority white gun owners will react to the growing numbers of black-owned firearms. The NRA and many Republicans support growing black gun ownership, arguing that regulating firearms is actually racist. the politics of guns has crafted odd alliances in America. But on this land between the hills, members of the Black gun owner community have found a place to gather and train for all scenarios.
Anybody can call a ceasefire if they see something unsafe. Okay, so if you see something unsafe, yell ceasefire as loud as you can. Everybody drop what you're doing to understand what's going on, okay? Don't want nobody getting hurt out here for any reason. We're all accountable for each other's safety out here.
Please, please.
Anubis leads the crew through live fire drills, running through a course, facing off against multiple threats.
Put it down, put it down!
Breaking bread after training. The bonds in this community are clear, but we wonder whether this too could be considered a militia. We asked Alton Clark, Regional Director for the local chapter of the National African American Gun Association.
It's not a militia. We're here to protect ourselves and our families and our community. The militias are the alt-right, white supremacists. They've been practicing and preparing themselves for years. We are new to the scene. We're not a militia. We're not out to take over the government or do anything of that nature. We're out to protect ourselves.
The reasons are manifold, but we ask ourselves if the answer to solving America's many rifts really is more guns. Either way, Anubis vows to be ready for anything.
If we are being attacked with firearms, we probably should have and know how to use them in case that ever happens. You know, it's just the reality of the situation and the times and the country that we live in.